Hey, welcome back, YouTube. We continue more MSQ playthrough. Last we saw, there was a conversation between Emmett Selk and Varys in the facility for Black Rose. We must leave now to convene with Eorzea's leaders, and it may be some time before I return to Doma. Akura, I leave you in command. My lord. I shall assemble an events party with all haste and join you on Alamigo forthwith. I just received word from Lise. The Alliance has established a base camp near Alamigo's northeastern border. Once we've arrived in the locks, we're to report to a resistance officer stationed in Porta Praetoria, who will point us in the right direction. Let's not keep them waiting. You must be the Scion party I was told to look out for. If you follow me, I'll take you directly to Alliance headquarters.
Welcome back, you two. Greetings, Lord here. Glad you could join us.
Glad to be here. I would have come sooner, where our own defense is not in question, but I am pleased to report that our soldiers are assembling for deployment to Alamigo as we speak.
We're grateful for your support. Thanks to the efforts of our allies, it won't be long before we've established defensive positions on this front as well.
We have some good news too. Alphino has come back to us. As for the bad news...
He's joined the others.
So, Alphino won't wake up. Gaius van Baelsar is alive and hunting Ascians, and the Empire is planning to poison us all with toxic gas. Does that sound about right? Ordinarily, any one of those things would have left me in shock. But the way things have been lately, it's all starting to seem pretty normal. Getting back to your report, are we sure this Black Rose is the weapon Maxima was talking about?
It fits the description. And it seems we have Alphino to thank for sparing us an early demonstration of its effectiveness. I have a feeling this won't be the last time his bravery in the Empire will serve us here in Eorzea. The threat of an unknown weapon has had us all on edge. But now that we know what we're dealing with, we can take steps to defend against it. As for Gaius, I'm not sure what to think. Am I happy he's alive? Not in the slightest. Am I happy he's hunting Ascians? Aye, I'd have to say I am.
Oh, speaking of Garleans you didn't expect to see, we have a tale of our own, as it happens. When we sent envoys to the Imperial Army to request talks, they returned with the message that Barissos Galvus would be attending.
The Emperor himself. Well, Varus did sanction the Popularis peace mission, but knowing that an Ascian walks in his son's skin, I do not see how we can trust him or anyone from that nest of vipers.
The Alliance would proceed with negotiations regardless, if only to give ourselves more time to prepare. We do, however, require your cooperation.
Right. Yes. So, as a condition for the talks to go forward, the Empire has requested that a member of the Scions be present. There'll be a representative from each Alliance nation, of course, but I'm afraid we have to ask that you come along too.
Gods, Lise! You know how much I hate politics! But then, what choice do I have? Alphino and the others aren't going to do it. Very well. I shall attend as the Scion's representative.
In case you're wondering why I didn't ask you, the Empire also requested the presence of Eorzea's champion.
I'll be there.
That's settled then. We don't know what Varys means to bring to the table, or why he wants you there, but having you close at hand will make all the difference.
The meeting will take place on the border. Anticipating an early assault, we mean to position the bulk of our forces nearby.
The Alliance leaders should already be on their way. Once you're ready, we can head out and join them.
Well, I don't suppose it's polite to keep an emperor waiting too long, shall we? He loves that cape.
Esteemed representatives of the Eorzean Alliance, on behalf of the Garlean Empire, I thank you for inviting me here today. As this parley was convened at your request, I invite you to speak first.
Very well, Your Radiance. I, Nanimo Ulnamo, 17th in the line of Ul, should be pleased to oblige you. As recent events in Alamigo and Doma have made plain, the subjugation and exploitation of neighboring nations is not a sustainable policy. Should this day end in war, you may very well defeat us, but you will never extinguish the people's desire for freedom. Though it may not be in our lifetime, there will be another revolution, another war, and the cycle will continue. Doma has entered into a concord with the nations of Eorzea, a partnership wherein we recognize one another as equals. Garlemald could be afforded similar treatment. You need only set aside your ambitions and join us in paving a path towards peace.
You will not win me over with sophistry, Your Grace. As you know only too well, this alliance lacks the strength to keep the peace within its own borders. Even now, your struggles with the Beastmen continue unabated. Divided, you sow this fertile soil with the seeds of your differences and reap naught but discord and chaos for your trouble. Eorzea must be united under one leader, one purpose. I would offer you both and bring an end to your strife.
With all due respect, Your Radiance, the only thing that you offered the people of Alamigo was fear and hopelessness.
The citizens of Doma can also attest to the meager arms of Imperial rule. There is no purpose to be found in a life of oppression, each day more uncertain than the last.
Our people are willing to die for their freedom. A great many already have, and countless more will, if we don't put an end to this madness here and now.
We brought order and stability to your lives. This madness and bloodshed is of your own making. You broke the peace, not Garlemald.
peace. Order. You kill our peoples, despoil our lands, take everything that is ours. And what? You expect us to lick the boot that grinds our faces into the dirt?
I expect you to weigh the costs. To recognize that countless lives have been lost on both sides in pursuit of a greater good, and to not squander all we have achieved in a fit of petulance.
Your Radiance. I fear I can personally attest to the dangers of pursuing one's vision with such righteous fervor. For 1,000 years, the Holy See of Ishgard waged war with dragons. 1,000 years of sacrifice, of sorrow and hate, in which we bathed in the blood of friend and foe alike. Had it gone on any longer, we may well have drowned. Yet we have chosen to raise ourselves out of this bloody spiral, and have since made peace with our former enemy.
So I understand. No doubt the dragons were more receptive to your overtures in the wake of their leader's demise. You speak of peace, yet use war to achieve it. Your father would not have bothered to obscure his intent with honeyed words. He understood that strength is all that matters in the end. Without his clarity of vision, I can but wonder what will become of Ishgard and her people. There was a time when Garlemald too lacked a leader of conviction. Weak and unable to wield magic, we were at the mercy of the strong from whom we sought refuge in the bitter cold of the north. Were it not for the discovery of ceruleum and the subsequent development of magitech, we might never have gained the power to take back that which was rightfully ours.
You speak as if your people were the first to have been driven from their homes. Limsa Lominsa was built by wayward souls in search of a place to call their own. On the shores of Vilbrand we found it. And from those humble beginnings did we grow and flourish. And all without robbing our neighbors of their liberty.
So saith the pirate. Am I to believe that you simply asked the kobolds to yield up their lands and that they were happy to oblige you? That you did not drive them out like rats in the hold of one of the many ships seized by your privateers? I will concede that after centuries of exile, reclamation may be mistaken for invasion. Nevertheless, it is not. And those who till stolen soil have no right to object when cast out in turn.
Your uncompromising nature rivals that of the Ixal. They too lament circumstances which they themselves perpetuate. Were they but to embrace peace, we would welcome them with open arms. Indeed, some few have done just that, and now receive of the 12's Woods bounty. Would that your people might learn from their example.
You dare compare us to the Birdmen? You who thought to invoke the 12 and threaten all of creation? I came here in the hope of finding some speck of common ground, but I see now these discussions will accomplish nothing. Despite what you people may believe, I am not wont to choose the sword over the olive branch. 'Tis but a pity men are loath to accept one without first being shown the other.
Wait! I beg you. This meeting was supposed to be a chance to find a way forward together, not to bemoan the missteps which brought us here. Please. If you truly consider violence a last resort, there must be a way we can come to an agreement.
As Mistress Alize says, we did not come here to bicker over the past, but to discuss how we might strive towards a brighter future. Emperor Varus, may I suggest a short recess, that all present might compose themselves prior to beginning anew?
Very well. I pray this intermission will suffice to move these talks in a more constructive direction.
Well, that went just about as well as we thought it would, wouldn't it? Phew. That is really not my forte. After his Radiance's little performance, it was all I could do not to swear at him. I honestly don't know how I ended up playing the mediator. I just asked myself, what would Alphinaud have done? I tried my best to do the same, and by some miracle it worked. There really is no common ground to be found with that man, nor do I think he looked for any. So the question becomes, what did he come here to do? Because you may be certain it wasn't to make peace. Whatever it is, I can't make it out. Not yet, at least. We do have a little time before the Parley is due to reconvene, though, so why not try to consult other illustrious leaders? Mayhap they have some insight to share. I will say one thing for this Varus. He is well versed in Eorzean history. His interest in our affairs is that of a beast in its prey. The conqueror would know his enemies. All should know their enemies, yet there is much and more we do not know of the Empire. Sure, Varus would be happy to tell you more. Ah, you would have me ask the Emperor himself. Well, mayhap there is some wisdom in that. If we can skirt the storm of his displeasure, we may yet come to our answers, even if it does mean sailing close to the wind. 12 have mercy. But for Lady Alice's timely interjection, we might well have come to blows at the negotiating table. Not that Emperor Varus left us very great many options. Is unconditional surrender all he will accept, do you think? Ere he arrived, I'd have said yes, but having heard him speak, I cannot help but think he came with some other end in mind. Exactly. He's building up to something, I know it. How then should we approach the rest of the Parley? Have you anything to say, Warrior of Light? Invite him to explain himself. We believe he is more apt to reveal the truth if we put him at ease. Mayhap you are right. Thank you. This Parley was never like to bring peace, but I had hoped to learn something of Emperor Varus' relationship with the Ascians. As had we all. Yet if he is in league with them, he is not like to volunteer the fact, and if he is not, how much weaker would his position seem for their presence? If we are to broach that particular subject, we will need to be subtle. That I knew more of the man. If you would indulge me, Lord Hien, you received an imperial education, did you not? Is it true that the Emperor's will is considered absolute? There is no higher authority in all of Galamort, nor else in the heavens, come to that. Veneration of the gods is forbidden, the only worship permitted being that of his Radiance's own person. That sounds suspiciously like a religion in itself. I share your disdain for the hypocrisy. Even as they denigrate the ideal of faith, they revere their leader with a fervor others reserve for the divine. It's a flaw common to much of the doctrine they fed us, logical on the surface, perhaps, but contradictory upon closer examination. I wonder if a discussion of the various discrepancies might prompt Varus to reveal something. You've spoken with everyone then? Good. Now all that remains is to wait the pleasure of the Emperor and hope we are far better at the second attempt.
Now then, who would have the floor?
Before we resume, I wish to offer you an apology. After you graciously accepted our invitation to discuss an armistice, we have done naught but rebuke you at every opportunity. I believe I speak for all of us when I say we are deeply sorry for our discourtesy.
I'll admit your familiarity with our affair surprised me, and served to remind me how little I know of yours.
I think all here can understand the desire to reclaim one's homeland. But why expand further? That is my question.
If I may, the answer can be found in the Imperial doctrine they took great pains to impart to my people. Recognizing the threat icons posed to the world, Solus Zos Galvus decreed that they were to be eradicated. To this end, he began a campaign to unite all lands under the Garlean banner. Or so we were taught. Yet the Emperor only reached the burn, the Barrens said to have been laid waste by icons, after conquering all the lands that lay between. What is more, I am quite certain the practice of summoning was not nearly so widespread in the days before the Empire's founding.
When you put it like that, it all starts to sound like an excuse, doesn't it? But to distract from what? Why are you really waging this war?
Finally, you ask the right question. I can but hope you heed mine answer and at last accept the righteousness of our cause. My goal is this: to return the world to the way it once was, the way it was always meant to be. In doing so, mankind will be made whole once more. No longer will we suffer from the dissension born of our differences. There will be but one race, a perfect race, as we were when time began.
What in Rolga's name are you talking about?
I am talking about the origins of the star, of the source and its 13 reflections. At the instant of the great sundering, 'twas not only the world that was shattered, but mankind itself. Thus were we divided into myriad races, each with its own unique imperfections. That is why man looks upon his neighbor and feels fear and hatred, why he wages war, why he kills his brother. You all in your own way have proven as much today. The peace you seek is but a fleeting solution to a fundamental problem. One which calls for more drastic measures. To bring about everlasting peace, our worlds must be rejoined. That is the goal the Empire would see realized. The glorious future unto which we shall one day shepherd mankind.
A rejoining of worlds.
I have heard this tale of the source and its reflections before.
Are these not the self-same desires as the Ascians?
Emperor Varys, do not trust in their words. They will lead you to your doom. My father thought to use them, but in the end he succumbed to their temptations. He embraced summoning like so many other pawns before him. Do not tell us you mean to do the same.
To be a pawn, free from the burden of choice, would be a blessing. forswore that privilege the day I learned that the Gallian Empire was built by the hand of an Ascian.
What?
He just straight up told them?
Yes. My grandsire, the former emperor, is of their number. And who better to build an empire capable of bringing about the calamitous change we desire? Would you condemn me for this alliance? For bowing to the will of these shadowy masters, when the prize is true and lasting peace?
Your prize is a lie. Your master's demons.
I come not to conquer, but to liberate. To free man from the prison of divergence. Imagine a world united. One perfect race beneath a single standard. An army before whose might these servants of darkness and light would fly as leaves in a storm, never again to meddle in man's affairs. We would be the masters of our own fate. I bid you join me, not as subjects of Garlemald, but of a new nation. And together we shall win freedom for ourselves and generations yet unborn.
You want to trigger another half-dozen calamities? You can't be serious!
Have you forgotten how many died? There will be no one left.
Do you truly imagine we would aid you in your bloodletting?
It is unthinkable! Unconscionable!
And what is the alternative? To be as cattle waiting for slaughter? I would have us work together, that we might take fate into our own hands.
Into your hands, perhaps. But what of the other worlds, your radiance? With every calamity, you obliterate a star and every soul that dwells on it.
To the Ascians, we are all but tiny, momentary specks within an indifferent universe. We cannot hope to oppose them until we have been made whole once more.
Are these truly the words of Garlemald's ruler? The flaws and foibles which you so abhor are what make us who we are. Every nation, even yours, Emperor Varys, is made whole through the combination of these imperfections, the strengths of one compensating for the weaknesses of another. While it is true that man succumbs all too often to anger and avarice, he may yet overcome his baser instincts through the forming of bonds with others, fostering community and cooperation. That the protector of an empire should not only reject these fundamental truths, but seek to change them at so dear a cost to life is indefensible. Such a man is not fit to govern.
Damn. She said that with her whole ass chest, bro.
And you, warrior
Stepped
of
forward
light,
and everything.
would you refuse me as well?
We can defeat the Ascians as we are.
It would seem the Alliance is of one mind on this matter.
Eorzeans never cease to disappoint me. Though I suppose I have only myself to blame for expecting more from savages. This discussion is at an end. I bid you make ready for our next meeting. It will not be at the negotiating table.
I came back to find Doma's advance party ready and willing, waiting for battle. So as boring as our little chat with the Emperor was, it did buy enough time for at least some of our allies to arrive.
I'm not sure what I was expecting from our meeting with the Emperor, but it wasn't that. Still, at least we know now what he's really after.
Aye, a future built on a mountain of bodies. I too want the Ascians dead, but not at any cost.
The last of the reinforcements from Doma arrived not long ago. I pray it will be enough. Given the Emperor's stated goal, this is a battle we can ill afford to lose.
If the Garleans come in force, we may not have much say in the matter, even with our combined strength.
We knew from the first that the odds would be against us. But if there is even the slightest chance of victory, we must do everything in our power to seize it.
We must seize it, full stop.
Hear, hear!
The two of you are to join an irregular unit and support the main host. I won't bother asking if you're minded to fight.
After coming this far, how could I not? And for once, there's no one around to countermand me. Not that they would. Not even my brother. But we all know who will really make the difference. Ready to frighten some Garleans?
You damn straight.
I wouldn't want to be on their side.
Might I ask you to accompany the Dorman contingent? They are strangers here, and your presence would do much to raise their spirits.
That's why there's Shinobi. Okay.
We would be honored.
When our people stride out with you in their midst, I dare say the Eorzeans will feel an ilm taller themselves. High spirits have a way of spreading.
What I wouldn't give to join you. But my duties as field commander will not allow it. I'll leave the front lines in your capable hands. Comrades, ready your arms. The hour of battle has come. May the crystal guide us to victory!
Since the others couldn't be here, we'll have to fight twice as hard. If Alphinaud wakes to find the Imperials have won, I shall never hear the end of it. It's strange. I thought I would be terrified when the fighting started. I should be terrified. But with you at our side, I can't help feeling everything is going to be all right. So please, don't you dare leave me alone. matter what happens, we have to survive together.
The Gimlet Dock, now accessible. Alright, as soon as we get a Q pop, we'll see you in there. Alright, so we're just going to bite the bullet and we're going to go in by ourselves because both DPS and tank Qs are taking a while. And if you notice, I am going to be going as a Dark Knight, as I think I'm going to wrap up post Stormblood as Dark Knight. So let's go ahead and go in. We're going to have a Doman Shaman as our healer, Hien and Alize as our DPS. I'm sorry if you can hear a dog barking in the background. How do you play this class again? I might do pauses during the dungeon to just like get to the next area. Definitely want our treasure chests. Get him, Lise.
You underestimate me.
She says this one's for you, Papa Limo. Don't fucking make me cry during this. Oh my god. I love you, Lise, so much. One fights like Nero, and one fights like not Nero. One fights like Gaius, one fights like Livia. Freaking do it. A little too early, Alice. Oh my gosh. I'm so glad I was recording that part. A little too early, Alice. What? Can y'all do the thing you're supposed to do? Withdraw? I don't, do we see you two again?
We did it! I dare say they'll be reeling from this.
You were truly inspiring in battle, my friend. I'm determined not to be outdone, but there seems to be no one left to fight.
A tactical withdrawal, perhaps?
We should give chase. Finish them off while we have the chance. Imagine the other surprise when they wake to find the war already won.
Of course.
The light will expunge all life. Only you can forestall the calamity. Throw wide the gates.
No! No! Not like...
Ah, shit. I really thought it was going to be us this time.
Oh no. Don't tell me. Are you all right?
Who's left? Lisa's isn't a Scion
Let's
anymore.
get her back to the encampment.
Kryle's a Scion. Kryle's still up. Who's gone? We've got Thancred was the first to go. Urian Stola, Alpha Node, now Alizé. So the Garleans have been routed, have they? Well done. Though this exchange was no more than a test of our strength, like as not, they won't be taking any chances now that the Emperor has joined the fray. They'll want to take their time, whittle down our defenses. Still, with your help and that of our eastern allies, we've passed the first test. Our line is unbroken. As for Alizé, well, she's in good hands over at the infirmary. My lord, the chirurgeons have completed their examination of Mistress Alizé, and it was as we feared. She is locked in a slumber without any outward cause. Just like the others. Damn it all. Aye, the Garleans picked a fine time to come knocking. 5 Scions incapacitated, and with the enemy on our doorstep, I cannot spare the men to assist in the search for a cure. The best I can do is to see to it that Alizé is escorted safely back to the Rising Stones. Yugiri and I would return to our encampment. The main contingent of our forces from the Far East is under sail, and all must be made ready for their arrival. I'll not keep you then. Judging by the Garleans' recent movements, or lack thereof, they won't be launching another offensive in the immediate future. You should return to the Rising Stones. Given the plight of your fellow Scions, I can understand if you feel on edge, but you'll do no good to anyone without rest. Now, MSQ, welcome home. Word has it that you and Mrs. Alizé gave Garleans quite a thrashing. Speaking of whom, where is Mistress Alizé? I was certain she would have returned by now. The 12, not her too. Oka and I will be ready at the infirmary for her arrival. We'll also need to send a message to Tataru post-haste, but that I had something other than grim tidings to share with her. And with you too, for that matter. It grieves me to report that the Archon's condition remains unchanged. As we speak, Coltonet Krau and Master Matoya continue to explore every possible avenue. Alas, their efforts have yet to bear fruit. But all is not lost. You are still hale and whole, after all. Though I suspect you must be tired from your journey. You should rest, my friend. Leave the worrying to us for the time being, at least. Meanwhile, at the border of Alamigo. Mesk, yours is a welcome face indeed in these troubled times. Though if you'd come in to inquire about our stricken brothers and sisters, I am afraid I have naught to report. Colton and the others continue their tireless search for answers, and I too have done all in my power to assist them. Alas. My apologies for the intrusion. I was told Master Alphanode had been brought here, and wished to see if his condition had improved. He's wearing resistance armor. It's got a good look on you, Maxima. Master Mesk, I've heard about the part you played in driving back the Empire's forces. Thank you. That you were able to stop them, if only for a short while, gives me hope. I realize how strange such words must sound coming from a Garlean's lips, but I speak them out of love I bear for my homeland, because I wish to see an end to the bloodshed. That is why I chose to share all that I know with the Alliance. Though I will surely be branded a traitor, I am content to bear that ignominy. It will seem a small price to pay if it helps to prevent this conflict from escalating any further. But enough of my prattling. The war is not what brought me all this way. I came to see Master Alphanode. An acquaintance of a Mascan Alphanode, are you? Well, far be it from me to turn away good company. You will follow me, sir. When word reached me that Alphanode had returned, it seemed only right that I visit him. Poor lad, it pains me to see him thus, but I take solace in the knowledge that he is safe and well cared for. He fought valiantly at the burn. Popularis could not have wished for a more committed ally. I know not how he came to be so afflicted, but I pray a cure will be found soon. On an unrelated note, you may be interested to know that I have traveled here in the company of another acquaintance of yours. He awaits my return at North Silvertier, and I am certain he would be glad to see you, assuming you can spare the time, that is. Sid? There you are. I was beginning to think you would not come. It looks like you've been through the mill. You should have called me. Though I must confess, tracking down missing souls isn't exactly within my field of expertise. As you may have surmised, I had much of Master Garland growing up in the Garlemald. Indeed, he has long been a source of inspiration to me. Most Garleans would say he is a traitor, that he turned his back on his country. We of the Popularis, however, consider him a revolutionary, a man willing to defy the Empire's dreams of subjugation, that his inventions might bring about a better future for all mankind. Please, revolutionary is a term best reserved for my work. I am but an Imperial defector who thought to aid another Imperial defector. Whatever Master Garland says, I am humbled to find myself in such distinguished company. Speaking of distinguished company, we heard from Raubon that you ran into an old friend in the burn. Is it true Gaius still lives? Like most in the army, I never had the privilege of seeing the legatus without his mask. To think I walked halfway across the burn in the presence of the Black Wolf. And he claimed to have severed ties with the Empire to hunt Asians, did he? After his humbling at the Praetorium, one would think he'd have the good sense to stay dead. If we meet again, I shall be sure to tell him so. Commander Aldine also spoke of the Alliance's meeting with the Emperor, though I still labor to believe what he told us. Did his Radiance really claim that Garlemald was founded by the Asians? That is madness. The very notion is absurd. Every fiber of my being rails against it. As yet I see there is no escaping the truth. From the very founding of my homeland, my brothers and sisters have laid down their lives in service to a lie. The Asians must be stopped, to save my people, to save all peoples. For all the Empire's many crimes, even I did not suspect. Had I known, I would have left a lot sooner. But that is in the past. Here in the present, we must apply ourselves to the problem of how the Empire's ambitions may be thwarted, not only in Eorzea, but in the Far East as well. The ironworks will spare no efforts to achieve that end. Sario's wall was a good start, but we can do more, and we will. We'll show them what it means to achieve freedom through technology. Begging your pardons, I bear a message for the Warrior of Light. Commander Aldine requests your presence at Alliance headquarters in Alamigo. We will discuss matters of strategy at your earliest convenience. Ah, yes, the inevitable messenger. I knew it wouldn't be long before duty called you away. I am no doubt of being of the essence. Could I tempt you to a ride aboard the Excelsior? If there's a faster way to row on side. I will personally apologize to the commander for keeping him waiting. I swear, every time you board my ship, you seem to be barreling headlong into danger, and every time you somehow contrive to emerge victorious, which of course is an admirable skill, but no one is invincible, MSQ, not even you, so please, take care of yourself out there. I pray you remain safe on the front lines, though ill-equipped to join the fray, I shall do all I can to assist from headquarters. My colleagues and I have been tasked with evacuating casualties by air. See that you aren't among them. Commander Aldine is waiting, sir. You're here, good. I summoned you to discuss strategy, but first I would apprise you of the Garlean's movements. Several cutscenes are going to play in sequence. You know what? We're just going to go ahead and let them play, because this is going to be the last video of Post-Stormblood, so let's go ahead and rally through it.
There have been several skirmishes along the border, but as yet neither side has delivered a decisive blow. We had long assumed that the Garleans would overwhelm us in a straight fight, but we seem to be gaining ground, albeit slowly. As to why that might be, the most likely explanation is that they have yet to commit all their forces. Still, we're winning, and our latest intelligence suggests the Emperor has retreated back to Garlemald. In light of this, we're considering launching an offensive with the aim of pushing the front line forward and giving ourselves some room to breathe.
Commander! The Imperials! They've broken through our defenses to the east.
What?
Our scouts say their forces are being led by Lord Xenos. Lord Heon and Commander Hext have taken their troops to provide support, but we don't know how long they can hold out.
So, they've been biding their time, waiting for his arrival, have they? Very well. Send word to our allies, requesting reinforcements for the front line. Should the worst come to the worst, I may need to enter the fray myself. But what of you? Do you still have the strength to fight?
You need only say the word.
Much obliged. Given the choice, I'd take you over 100 soldiers.
Why won't they open? Please, I bid you open.
What's wrong? Is it the voice again? Are you sure you're in a fit state to do this? May Ralga grant us strength. Give 'em hell, lad. I, for my part, will defend this place to my dying breath.
Meanwhile, at the border of Alamigo, Oh shit! Who am I? Who am I? Ian? Oh shit! This is a combo, and that's a second win. That's a dot, and that's a rush. Okay. Nice. Elise.
The wheeze of a shinobi's power. The art of my forebears.
Nice. Oh shit, yeah, biatch.
Magic with a Garlean body. That's hardly fair. Still, he must be stopped, no matter the cost.
Bringer of light. It has been too long. No words to mark our reunion? So be it. Equilibrium must be restored, and only your death will redress the balance.
Good thing I got my Dark Knight Samurai sword. Stay true to the homage. Sit your ass down.
Your mother chose her champion well. Yet, for all your strength, you will still fail.
Not a rapper.
I beseech you.
Ah, someone calls to you. Too late, alas.
At last, I found you. Please, there's no cause for alarm. Though, I confess, this is not where I had intended to meet. But the place of our meeting is of no consequence, like the war you wage. Win or lose, the path you walk leads only to oblivion. The better path leads you here, to me. I have need of your strength.
Who are you?
I'm afraid such questions will have to wait. We have precious little time, and your work is not yet done. Go to the Crystal Tower. I have left something for you near its base. It will serve as a beacon of sorts, one which I pray will help you on your journey. All you need do is find it. I will take care of the rest. Soon, we will throw wide the gates, and the path to the first will be yours to walk at last.
You're awake. Thank heavens.
Where's Xenos?
I see you recall that much, at least. In the midst of your duel, it is said you faltered and that the Crown Prince seized the opportunity to deliver a mortal blow. Yet before his blade could find its mark, he was distracted by the arrival of a second adversary who bore you away from the battlefield and into the hands of our chirurgeons. Lest you wonder, he left before you awoke. As is his wont.
Stinian, maybe? The only one I could think of who can get in and out in secret.
Estinian never was one for emotional farewells. Though Zeno spessed it all before him, the battle clearly took its toll, for he retreated shortly after your rescue. Seeing this, the remaining Imperial forces decided discretion was the better part of valor and pulled back, allowing us to re-establish our position. We have since received word of renewed unrest in the provinces, doubtless inspired by the efforts of the Eorzean Alliance and our Far Eastern allies. Nor does the good news end there. We have also come into possession of intelligence suggesting unrest within the Imperial court. This would certainly explain why both the Emperor and Lord Xenos appear to have abandoned the fight. A long-awaited ray of hope in these dark times.
What of the Scions?
Yet to awake, I'm afraid. But please, concentrate on your own recovery for now. You have carried the hopes of some half-dozen nations, and we are all eternally grateful for your efforts. But no one is without their limits, not even you. Leave this fight to us, my friend. You have earned your rest. But before I forget, I was asked to deliver a message as soon as you awoke. A reminder that you are not alone, though many of your allies have fallen. When you are well and rested, you are to return home, where friends will be waiting for you. Now, if you will excuse me, I must return to the front. May we meet again soon, under happier circumstances.
Well, this is a most unexpected surprise. I thought you confined to bed. I heard that you had collapsed on the field of battle. I confess I feared the worst. With you standing here before me, I see now that the reports of your defeat were greatly exaggerated. Thank the Fury. As long as we have you, Master Plagiario, history suggests we have a fighting chance. Speaking of fighting, you may be surprised to hear that the war's effects can already be felt even here in Ishgard. In anticipation of a need for reinforcements, Artura will soon be departing for the front lines with a contingent of our finest knights. I would advise you to stay until your strength had returned, but I know it would be an exercise in futility. Indeed. I suspect you have already decided on your next destination. Dark days lie ahead, of that I have no doubt. The light of hope shall ever guide our steps so long as we have the will to press onward. Press onward we must. Farewell, my friend. I pray our next meeting will be under happier circumstances. All right, we've got one more quest, and then that's it. Ori Boulder, Tataru, Coltonet. Who else is here? Real. Last one standing.
By the 12! I don't believe it! I rushed back as soon as I could. I swear, my heart nearly stopped when I heard you'd collapse like the others. What in heaven's name is going on?
Sad she's not in her kimono anymore.
Win or lose, the path you walk leads only to oblivion. Oh, well, that's helpful. And what else did he say? The better path leads to him? If his is the voice you've all been hearing, perhaps the others are with him. Sir Emmerich said the fighting had reached a stalemate, didn't he? But if that monster masquerading as Xenos comes back... Thancred, Yestola, Urianger, Alphino, Alize... You're going to need all of them on your side to defeat him. And I forbid you from going to face him on your own. Do you hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
So if you must leave, go and find the others. Bring them home. As for where to start, you said the stranger had left a beacon for you at the Crystal Tower, right? But how are you to find it now that the tower has been sealed shut? There has to be a way. If anyone would know, it's Sid and the researchers of St. Coinac's find. Don't you worry, we'll find that beacon for you.
Meanwhile, in the Imperial Palace. Oh, they are back. The red helmet and blue helmet.
I pray you have good reason for abandoning the front.
How could I remain there while the rumor that my son is possessed by a demon spreads like a sickness here at home? I will not be made to fight for the throne a second time. But what of you? Did you not tell me you would destroy Eorzea's champion with the ease that one might swat a fly?
A minor setback. He will not escape me again. Where is your grandsire? I would have words with him.
How should I know? Do you hide from each other's sight as well? I imagine he's doing what all Asians do.
He must have found a way to take advantage of this turmoil.
Men are not pawns to be played with, Asian. You underestimate us at your peril. This war will not be decided by you and yours. is. Man must choose his own fate, and I, for my part, will do all within my power to see Garlemald emerge victorious. Pray forgive the intrusion, Your Radiance, but the requested preparations are now complete. We stand ready to begin production of Black Rose upon your order.
Ew. No, thank you, ma'am. Did we do it? Oh, we did it. That's gonna be a wrap up on post Stormblood. Oh, look at it. It's so beautiful. She's so amazing. I love Lise so much. Goesetsu. Oh man, thank you to the entire staff for that. Stormblood, I I just want to say I came into this hearing that Stormblood was like the weakest and like not a very strong expansion, but it had so many good moments. Lise, of course, is one of my favorite characters, so it was extra special. But oh man, thank you so much to the team. That was beautiful. I love Stormblood. I loved Stormblood. That was awesome. Oh, but that's gonna do it for this one. I feel like we've gone on long enough, and yeah, we'll go ahead and start Shadowbringers on the next one. Thank you so much. Like the video if you can, because it really does help out, especially this is going to get flagged with the ending song there. And subscribe to the channel. Like, not only am I going to be doing the rest of the MSQ playthrough, I plan to do a bunch more content with 14, so stick around, subscribe, and we'll see you next time.